Meltzer comes out in the news this week, releases a book called The Inner Circle. He admits in it that really the idea for the book is Bush the Elder. And I'm not going to get into what's in the upcoming episode because, quite frankly, I don't know. I've never been approached with more paperwork and more stuff they wanted me to sign, and I refused on the first episode that they wanted me to be part of, the one that Mark Dice is in. And so they came back and said, okay, you don't have to do all that. And I just had a bad feeling, but at the same time, it sounded pretty exciting to try to go back and watch them try to infiltrate Bohemian Grove. But when I got in with the three hosts, two of the three were pretty much attacking me, acting like it was all a big joke. Then I saw the episode that Mark Dice is in, and then I read quotes where Meltzer made fun of people before the episodes aired and said, you got to see the kooks I got, the crazies I got. So it's all kind of proposed on the surface like it's going to fairly look at things. But then, I mean, what does Brad Meltzer expect us to do when he's running around talking about how we're a bunch of crazies? I mean, that prejudices the whole thing. We're just supposed to sit there and take it. And then in the Statue of Liberty episode, these kooks think it's Lucifer, and then they go to the professor, oh, it is Lucifer, but it's the good Lucifer. So this is basically the 33rd degree Masonic view of everything they've done, telling us how wonderful it is. And like Tom Clancy was chosen to be a propagandist, it's clear that Brad Meltzer has now been chosen for that same mission. As they can't ignore the conspiracy theorist culture, they now are trying to become it. But that's not going to work. So you've got the floor. Break down the bombshells here, Mark Dice.
Yeah. Meltzer reached out, George Bush 41 reached out to Meltzer in 2002, invited him to his Houston home, where they talked about life in the White House and the importance of presidents being surrounded by people they could trust. And here in this USA Today article yesterday with the headline of Author Brad Meltzer is part of history's inner circle, Bush says that, yeah, he considers Brad Meltzer a friend, and has his book right there. And Meltzer says that as a novelist, I can write whatever I want, but if two presidents are going to read the book, I want them to say, he got it right. And people really appreciate your working it instead of just phoning it in.
So they are hyping him as if, wow, this is the guy to go to for conspiracies. And then we learn how loving the Illuminati is, but continuing with this Brad Meltzer. I mean, it's just incredible that when they approached me, they said, no, this is totally fair. We really want to look at it. We promise this isn't a hit piece.
Now, my episode, you can see it on YouTube. You can understand the editorial, creative, decisions that they put into it. I mean, obviously, you can watch it and see how it was pieced together. It makes it look like we're discussing the Illuminati, and then a police car has its siren go off, and we got to get out of here. That's all just editing. It's incredible what they can do. But this whole guy's job, his job is the new propagandist to whitewash conspiracy theories. He's good friends with Bush 41, who gave him the plot for his new book, The Inner Circle, about it's George Washington's secret spy ring. It's still going on today, and it's a bunch of good folks. Don't worry about it. And the lead character in his book, Beecher White, works for the National Archives. So I guess this guy just maybe never looked up the Operation Northwood's declassified document or the Gulf of Tonkin tapes to learn what sort of actual conspiracies go on.
And we're going to get into Red Cell in a minute. He admits he's been recruited by the government. And I want to explain what Red Cell really does for those that don't know, including members of Red Cell that are compartmentalized. The big bombshell here is Bush 41 is admittedly the grand poobah on the steering board of Bohemian Grove. He is one of the top people there, along with his son. And this is Bohemian Grove striking back, basically. They're having their insider, their best buddy, who they write books with, who's, quote, part of the inner circle, go through every major conspiracy issue as the American people wake up to the secret establishment that's running this country, the Skull and Bones and others. And that's what Bohemian Grove is an offshoot of. I mean, they didn't tell me, hey, we're insiders. We're good friends with the head of Bohemian Grove. They didn't tell me that. And
this is how good of an establishment insider he is. In this USA Today article released yesterday, again, a day after his book is released, following the day after his New York Daily News article, coincidentally, of course, released on the day of his book. The USA Today article goes on to talk about his book, and it just plugs it, and then it says, in parentheses, $26.99. It even says how much it is. You can just buy it right there. They're promoting him so clearly. But this guy not only is, admitted good friends with Bush 41, but he has released a private, personal letter from Bush, because for the last few presidents, there's a tradition of presidents leaving a short little note in the desk in the Oval Office for the future president, for the incoming president. Just a funny, personal little note, nothing big. But Meltzer's trying to make it seem like the presidents are passing on, the Illuminati secrets, or the Culper ring, spy circle of the presidents is still operating, and they need to, and they go to the Bohemian Grove to just blow off steam. It's so unbelievable, man. This guy is such an establishment insider. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Bush 41, I'm pretty sure, helped recruit him for the Red Cell program. The Red Cell is a secret program that they've had it periodically. It's think tanks, sort of, but groups of people get together and brainstorm ideas on how to attack America. And the Red Cell report was actually released by WikiLeaks, so you can go and get that. You can read that is the conclusions of 18 leading academic terrorist experts, former National Security Council, Department of Homeland Security officials, mass transit security specialists, et cetera, and a novelist. So I'm pretty sure Bush 41 just pulled strings and got him affiliated with. And by the way,
this is just like Bush 41. Never being in the CIA, but then becoming the director of it in the mid-'70s, kind of like Brad Meltzer, never part of the secret government operation at the very top of the pyramid, but now he's magically part of the inner circle. Now he's magically part of the Red Cell. And imagine, I'm talking to the head producer, and I said, I want to hear from you that this is not a government hit piece, because I said the last History Channel piece was so disingenuous that we'd be speaking to a crowd of 500 people here in Austin at a 9/11 convention event. They would then wait to the hour-long lunch intermission and shoot shots of the room empty and me talking to one person. Well, hold on, I want to finish. They blew up the film. They made my face look yellow. I mean, I work with video. I know when they've distorted it. Then they'd cut to glistening footage in high def saying expert popular mechanics, admittedly hooked into the government for more than 100 years in black op propaganda, hence the term yellow journalism. And I said, you're telling me this is different? And they said, absolutely. We really are just looking at the whole thing. It's an investigation. I mean, they didn't tell me, because it was secret then. Now he can reveal it because of WikiLeaks. Oh, this guy's best buds with the president, and he's going to reveal us the secret circle and how it's all wonderful. And so here's the top Bohemian Grove guy, and that's how these spies would work, getting me involved, taking me out there. They're locked, cocked, and ready, leading me right to them. Thank God I escaped. I'm telling you, this makes me sick.
Yeah, there's also a Guidestones episode coming out, too, in a few weeks, and I'm pretty sure that they'll just conclude that it was either just an eccentric environmentalist or a publicity stunt at the Elberton Granite Association. Don't worry about it. It's not the Illuminati. It was just a publicity
Don't worry about
stunt.
Ted Turner calling it Archie Christian or Rosicrucian. Never mind, it's the official 500 million population in the UN Biological Diversity Assessments. Never mind all the other calls for world government and population. I'm sure that's going to be just fine, too.
For those interested, I have a lengthy article. You can get it on markdice.com or search for it, titled What Brad Meltzer's Decoded Myths About the Real Meaning of the Symbols of the Statue of Liberty. And, we should maybe get into some of that, too, because some of your audience might think that you're a lunatic, or we're lunatics for saying that it represents Satan. So maybe we should kind of get into a little bit of that.
Yeah, I want to do that, Mark, and we're going to hold you a little bit into overdrive in the next hour. But looking at this, going over this, I'm pretty freaked out. And I guess I've come to the point where I cannot do mainstream TV interviews. I did Ventura that was real. They're now pulling not just one but other episodes and erasing it off DVRs under Homeland Security threats. That's confirmed, and the mainstream media isn't reporting on it. That's big news. Under government orders, they go into your DVRs and erase them now. Yep. Under government orders, they're pulling episodes, dealing with FEMA camps, not denying the info's real. That's why they are pulling it. They're completely freaked out. So I did that, and it's being pulled. But every other mainstream TV thing I do, Nightline, it doesn't matter. It's a stinking hit piece. And to sit there and have people straight-faced tell you that we have no connections to the government, this is a fair, open piece, and I'm like, really? Because I've seen bad stuff out of History Channel. We promise.
Yeah.
And then, oh, I'm a government asset. I hang out with the president, who's the Bohemian Grove head, and then he just expects us to lay down and take this?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, let's maybe get into some of the symbolism so people don't think that we're kind of jumping the shark here and losing.
Well, I mean, hold on, Mark. I'm going to put this on screen for people. Guys, put the Brad Meltzer article from New York Daily News up. I mean, they're saying right here he's part of a super secret government operation that war games possible attacks. What they don't tell you, and what Patty Meltzer may not know, is that, and I've covered this for over a decade, they have all sorts of Hollywood groups writing scripts of attacks. Then those scripts are used, and Red Cell is used as a cover for black ops, that if they get caught by other agencies or groups planning to stage an event, they say, oh, it's just part of the drill.
Yeah, it's like Tiger teams. They're used Tiger teams, which supposedly are good guys that try to infiltrate systems to test security. So, yeah, it's covert Tiger teams that actually are actual terrorists.
Yeah, and then they follow these scripts, just like, I get a call. The star of the X-Files is coming to your house. He's all freaked out. He gets there. It's Dean Haglund. He says, yeah, the CIA planted this stuff on us. I don't want to get too much into it. I'll get in trouble. But, 6 months before, they planted that episode of the government flying the jet in the World Trade Center and then attacking Afghanistan. It's insane. It's incredible. He got on air and said most of it later. But the point is that they were writing those scripts, and then they're used as covers. And if somebody gets caught, it's a lone gunman script.
And listen to this. I'm looking at the Red Cell report right now, again, released by WikiLeaks. It's unclassified, but it still says here that you're not supposed to have it. And this is what the Red Cell concluded. There are 18 academics, former Homeland Security officials, think tank, security specialists, all this stuff. This is what they concluded in their 4-page Red Cell report that thankfully WikiLeaks released. The concern over a future homeland attack. There is concern over a future homeland attack, but no more likely than before. Yeah. One Red Cell participant said that the London attacks, quote, countered the perception that terrorists are running scared. Mass transit systems are a target. Buses, trains, subways, and their supporting infrastructure are identified as likely targets. This is what this report did. 18 specialists.
Yeah, it's written at a 5th grade level to be given to the FBI.
It's unreal.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. Well, again, I'm not saying that Brad Meltzer at Red Cell even understands this, but we know what Red Cell has been used for. We know what similar things have been used for. We know they always run a drill of the actual attack while it's happening so they can smoke screen. All this Red Cell chatter also confuses NSA and others.
Let me add this, too. Let's just say that, let's give Meltzer the benefit of the doubt that he's not an evil, heartless scumbag that has conscious awareness of what Bush 41 and his Illuminati connections have done. But by recruiting him, by Bush reaching out to him, bringing him to his home, basically giving him access to everything that he's ever wanted, now he's compromised. He can't go out and talk about these things. His main character is a national archivist. You think he's going to talk about Northwoods or Gulf of Tonkin? In the article in the USA Today, Brad Meltzer admits that because he has such high-level fans, I better get this right.
Let me go back. You just spurred my memory. In 1996 and 97, I was approached by mid-level Republicans here in town. They would come down to the Access station and say, I was just talking to the governor the other day. He really likes you. We're going to be watching the show and seeing what you're doing, and governor might want to meet you sometime. And, of course, then later Bush had me arrested at a rally and knew full well who I was and the rest of it. But the point is that then I had Democrats contact me and go, the Democrats would like you to work with them. I was contacted by a well-known Democrat. He said, will you talk off record? I said, yeah, part of my journalism hat. And then he called me like a month later, and he said, how dare you say Bill Clinton's a traitor? You're never going to get a job with us now. So that is how they operate, yes.
Yeah, he might not be, in the know, but now he's compromised. Now he would have to turn his back on his lifestyle and all the connections that he's been given to come out with the truth. So now he's just not going to.
This is the former head of the CIA, one of the head people at Bohemian Grove, who is now credited with this guy's new book about inner circles.
Yep.
And then, oh, man, this is...
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just quite incredible.